Hello, K-Man, and welcome to another Joey Ebanks radio show on Vibe 98.9 FM. Remember, today is open mic. It's open mic. The number to call is 946-9898. That's 946-9898. And I want to hear from you. I've picked a topic to discuss, and I have to tell you and start by saying that I am extremely humbled by the number of requests coming in through my Facebook inbox of people with issues, and I have to tell you that some of these make mine look like a day at the beach, and I am humbled that people are reaching out and asking for those issues to be voiced and brought into the forefront of the discussion, and I believe that they have to be. One, I'll just mention two to start off. One is with a long-serving civil servant who's overseas on medical treatment. He was promised that his bills would be paid. The Cynical paid their share, which was the operation. The pre- and post-treatment was supposed to be picked up by the Ministry of Health, and they have now stopped answering his calls. He can't reach anyone there. They're not responding by emails. And the funds for his operation were, in fact, applied to the treatment, and now he's stuck in a foreign country, unhealthy, unable to move, unable to cover this cost that he was promised would be paid. And again, this is a long-serving civil servant. He's just posted up on my Facebook page his story, so he obviously has no issue with it being out in public. He's believes strong enough in the evidence he has that he can post his name up and he can come in the kind of scrutiny anyone else may have. And you can check my Facebook page and the story is there. The second one that I find that is it angers me really is that of a young woman in the district of Georgetown who worked very hard, got the necessary grades she needed, got accepted to a university in England, and then obtained a scholarship from the Nation Building Fund under the previous premier, and then was arrested on suspicion by the RCIP. Her passport was seized. She was taken. It was taken from her. The investigation went on for some time, and then suddenly she was given back her passport after the school had cancelled her acceptance. And now she has to start this process over again, try to get accepted to another university, try and get another scholarship, which is going to be hard for her to do, and start the process over again. So I'm saying that the RCIP, and I've looked at her documentation, RCIP needs to step up if you made a mistake, and you need to take this young lady, you need to pay for her scholarship, you need to get her in the school and pay for it. You should be liable, and you should feel that you should have to, rather than treat her the way she was treated. So those are the two main ones for this evening that I wanted to mention. But the other thing I wanted to discuss before I go straight to the phones is the fact that you've seen in the press the release by the ERA board that they're now going to conduct an investigation into the 36 megawatt bid. And of course, just the way that the media and the way that the ERA board is spinning it is, why didn't he tell us before? Well, folks, you will recall that this bid process went through. It was announced. I took it to the board. I supported the DECO bid as the best bid. I then went on the radio shows. I explained it to everyone, and all of that occurred. What happened next was CUC took a position that they wanted more and more information. We argued for some time because the DECO winning the bid was only phase one. The second phase was that they had to go to the table with CUC and negotiate a power purchase agreement. CUC was preventing that from happening in a timely fashion. But through exchange of emails, and all the emails are there between myself and the CUC team, we finally agreed, and I gave them as much information as I could, and they agreed that they would go to the table in good faith to negotiate the power purchase agreement. This was finalized on March the 1st. So I met with Cameron of the DECO group that evening, and I met with him to say, the additional information that CUC needs, we will provide. The ERA has resolved this with CUC, and they're coming to the table in good faith. You now need to go to the table in good faith. And if you don't, I would look frowningly on you, and I would take whatever action is necessary. Then is when I was told there was a typo in the bid. Now, folks, you have to understand something here. One, all three of the bidders, Navasoda from the United States, CUC, the incumbent, and the DECO group, were given several months to prepare their bid. Then we gave them a second look because the board was not constituted. So they got a chance to review their bid once again and resubmit. The Navasota group of the U.S. looked at theirs and resubmitted theirs. The DECO group looked at theirs and resubmitted that. And the CUC group said, no, we're leaving our bid as is on the table. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a second look at it, and the typo on price is something I could not accept. And I made it clear, one, you live with it or you withdraw. Live with the price or withdraw. And that was March the 1st. That was 3 o'clock in the evening. I know it was 3 o'clock in the evening because I had to pick up my son from school and I had to get my wife to do it. So later that evening is when I got the call with the threat of suspension from Emil Scott. The following day, I met with a board member, Mike Herlin, to discuss the DECO bid. We spent some time together. I covered all of this in my meeting Saturday night, and I want to say here, thank you all very much. We had an excellent crowd. Thank you all so very much for coming out. Thank you for assisting, for making it possible to spread the information of the word. So on Saturday the 2nd, Mike Herlin and I, we met, we discussed, we had meetings with DECO, and I covered all this in my meeting. And I said, no, I'm not fixing this bid. And I left. We parted ways. The Friday, the 1st, I did send an email to my staff saying no one is to fix the bid. That, you will remember, is mentioned in the threat from the governor's office threatening to sue me, where he makes reference to my email of March the 1st. It's on my Facebook page as well. So on Saturday, right after leaving the board member, Mike Herlin, I was called. I managed to get from the Havana Cigar Shop to Kentucky Fried Chicken. I was called by the lady to serve me with the suspension. She met me and served the suspension. So, just to recap. One, for the first time I found out about the typo was March the 1st at 3 p.m. in a meeting with DECO. I refused to fix it. I then received a call and an email from my staff, and I said no one is to fix this bid. On March the 2nd, I had further conversations with board members in the DECO group, and I refused to fix this bid. But later on that evening, at about 4 o'clock, I was served with a suspension. So the board members need to stop trying to spin this their way. Because I am not afraid to say that the chairperson, you need to get this right. I really, look, here's a simple solution to find out who's telling the truth. One, let's appoint an individual independent group. Independent group. The board gets to select one of the investigators. The governor's office selects one. I select one. In fact, let's make it a 5-man team. Let's let CUC and Navasota, and make it 6. CUC, Navasota, and DECO each get to select an investigator too. And let's conduct a proper investigation into that bid, as well as the Auditor General and Louis Boucher issue with the audit of 2011, the Ezard Ritz deal, and let's look at who is telling the truth. Because I have my person, I'm ready to come in and look and represent me in the investigation and make sure that the truth is brought up. And let's bring it out to the public. On Saturday night, I made it clear I am willing, if I am proven to be a liar, to withdraw from this election. And I'll sweeten this deal for you. I'll not only withdraw, I'll walk to Northwood and you can lock me up then. But we're going to have an independent group of individuals investigating this to get the truth. I proved today, through an FOI, that Ezard Miller was in fact the chairman of the Work Permit Board when he wrote that email, having, by his own admission of guilt, that he negotiated with the Ritz-Carlton to bring in hundreds of employees for them from Cuba, and he wanted 15% of their annual salary plus expenses. Now, the people mentioned in that email was Eddington Power from CUC, Jarvis Miller, and Steve Scott. Neither Jarvis Miller or Steve Scott responds in that email, but Eddington does. So clearly he was, one, the chairman of the board. The FOI request from Immigration Department came back saying, yes, he was the chairman at the time. 2, he negotiated based on the email. And 3, they had all intentions of bringing into this country hundreds of employees from a communist country into this country as employees for the Ritz-Carlton. Now, in my opinion, the Ritz also has some blame in this because they negotiated with him. if they sat at the table with him and negotiated this, they're at fault too. And they need to make this right within this country and get some of our unemployed people employed. Give them jobs. Come on, start doing something that's right. And Ezra really just needs to admit that he, in fact, did this and stop lying about it. Because you did. We have the evidence there. And the Commissioner of Police, you really need to step up to the plate now, and you need to start dealing with this. If you're the anti-corruption unit, then deal with it. But, folks, that in a nutshell is what I'm going to open with. At the end of the show, I have this great song to play for you from this young Caymanian man who's taken all of this press and all the issues and he's put it into 3 minutes of song, but I want to hear your calls. Here's what I'm saying to the callers today. I have put my name on the ballot. You've got to be tough with me. All right? Let me prove that I am capable of handling this job, because all elected members need to be able to handle multiple of issues as they come in. So we're going to go straight to the phones, and let's take... I'm sorry, we're ready? We're going straight to the phones and taking the first call. Caller, you there? Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for your call.
Hi, Mr. Joey.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Good. I wanted to have call in from the other day when I noticed your Facebook. When it made reference that I had served you a document.
Oh, is this Patty?
Right, yeah, this is Patty.
Okay.
But let me say this to you, Mr. Joey. I don't mind your advertisement, but I would prefer you advertise me properly, because I'm not an impartial delivery service. And in reference to your quote for quote about I saying that I was pleased to deliver the document to you because I was a C4C supporter, that is very far from the truth.
No, ma'am.
I have never...
No, ma'am.
I have... Okay. You had your bit. Hold on, Joey.
Go ahead.
Hold on, Joey. You had your bit. You said it on your Facebook. Now give me a chance to make my defense. I being a 4C supporter was voiced on Rooster over and over. So there is no secret that I am a 4C supporter. Me and you never had such a conversation. That's one. Two, I never mentioned the former premier in any discussion that happened between me and you that day. I called you on the phone, and I told you who I was, and I told you I was engaged by an office to deliver a document to you.
No, you didn't.
I did. I did, Joey.
Madam, you have to remember that you ran into me at a lawyer's office, and you and I had this discussion in front of two of the
I ran into you in a lawyer's office, and I told you the same thing I told the premier, or the former premier. I wish you the best.
Right.
But that does not change the cost of eggs in China. We had no such discussion the day that you were being served. What I said to you was that I was engaged by an office to serve a document on you.
Now, can I respond to that?
No, you done made your response. If it's anybody to continue
we're having a conversation here, so.
Hold on, let me say, Joey.
You get to make a statement. I get to make a statement, right?
And I will listen to you. Okay. And if I find it necessary to call back, I will call back.
Okay. But you don't need to hang up, you know. I don't want you to hang up. No, what I want you to do is make your statements.
I want to say to you, Joey, that I didn't make no such conversation with you. Our conversation was never intended of such from your end. And I never uttered such words. I told you when I called you on the phone that I was engaged by an office to deliver a document.
What time did you call me, madam?
I called you on various times, but our document was served.
What time did you call me on Saturday, madam? What time did you call me?
I called you, I would say, long after 4 o'clock.
Okay, so it was after 4, right?
And you were served at 5:15.
Right, so at after 4, you called me, you asked me, you said to me...
Where you were.
You said to me, you had a business and you wanted some assistance, right?
Joey.
Yes.
You want me to quote my word for you? Give me a minute, please.
Okay, go ahead.
I called you, and I said, Mr. Joey, this is Patty.
Right.
I said, I do a delivery service. And I said I was engaged by an office.
No, ma'am.
To deliver a document to you.
No, ma'am.
Oh, yes, Joey.
No.
When I got there, you were arguing with someone.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Where did you serve me, Mom? Where did you serve me?
I served you at South Coast.
Right. Was I on the phone when you drove up? You said I'm right behind you.
Yes, you were.
Right. Okay. And I was on the phone to you, right?
You was on the phone, and when you told me, when I called you back that you answered me, you told me that you were at Smith Cove. When I went directly to Smith Cove, I could not find you, and you said you were in the parking lot opposite the Smith Cove.
Right.
When I went there, that's exactly where you were.
And I got out and walked to your truck.
And you got out and walked to my truck.
Correct.
And you took the document, and at the time, you said to me, you see, that's what happens when you fool with C4C. I said, well, this is not why I'm here. I'm not here to talk about the C4C. I'm here, like I told you, to deliver a document. In reference to your information on the Facebook, on your Facebook, regarding me with the former premier, that has been no secret for years. From 2004, when I was officially retired from the Cayman Islands government, I made it clear that this was all to do with me not supporting the premier. And this goes right back with me and the former premier from 1982. I have never supported the premier, the former premier. I have no intentions to. But if he did something good, I was the first to say, Mr. Bush, you did a great job. You did a good job. But I never supported him. I have no intentions to support him. But as far as mine and your discussion is concerned, Mr. Ebanks, I would leave that should I need to be called as evidence, I will let you know what you said to me. And remember, what you said to me was not said to me alone. It was said to me in a car with someone else. Actually,
I think it was 3 other people in the car, correct?
Exactly.
Yes.
So you must remember what you said, not to try to make me look like I am C4C in supporter, and I am happy to deliver this document to you because it didn't go like that.
Okay.
I made it clear to you, I do a business, this is who I am, and I wanted you to know that this is why I'm calling you.
Okay, and you notice...
It has nothing to do with me being supporting of C4C and being happy to deliver it as you tried to imply.
Okay, and you notice I didn't cut you off, and I let you have your spiel, right? Now, I don't want you to hang up still.
No.
Because I have no intentions of cutting anyone off on the show, even when they attack me. Okay? Now, I got a call from you, and I told you I was by Kentucky. You told me you were by Prospect. I said, come through South Sound, I'll go through South Church Street. You said to me, no. You asked me not to interrupt you, madam. Let me just finish my side of this for the people to hear, right?
Well, I couldn't tell you I was in Prospect because I was not in Prospect.
Okay, ma'am.
So that's another lie you're telling.
But can I finish then?
Go ahead.
I stopped interrupting you so you could finish yours, right?
Go ahead.
So I told you to come through South Sound. I'll meet you by the Smith Cove beach, right? You have already confirmed this is after 4 anyway, you said. So I went, I waited.
I didn't serve you at 4 o'clock.
No. You served me at 5 Sunday, but the call occurred after 4.
But you just said on your show that I served you between 3 and 4. So I want you to correct that.
Okay, so...
You said it, not me. I made it clear when I served you.
Okay. All right,
okay?
So you served me at 5:30, but you called me after 4, correct?
Yeah.
I met you there at Smith Cove. You told me when I got you on the phone, and we do agree this was a Saturday, right?
We all agree.
Okay, this is a Saturday. You called me after 4. You got me on the phone. I was by Kentucky. I was headed down North Church Street. I would meet you there. You met. When I was there waiting, I called you back. You said you're pulling in right now. I got out and I met with you, correct? And I walked over to you and you said, I'm saying, this is what you said. You're disagreeing with this, but you said, because of what McKeever did to me, I'm happy to, and I'm a proud C4C member, I'm happy to serve this on you. That was the words you said. You gave me the letter. I opened it and you said, oh, I don't know what's in that. And I opened it and I said, it's a suspension from the governor, but you can go back and tell him and Dan Scott, the C4C members, they made a big mistake with me today. Now, that's what transpired between us, madam. And
that is between you, Dan Scott, and the C4C. But this has nothing to do with me. I served you at 5:15 in the parking lot
Absolutely.
at Smith Cove Beach.
Absolutely.
And I am letting you know that I did not indicate to you at that particular point that I was a C4C supporter. And I did not indicate to you of anything with me, with the former premier. And I am saying it again today. So tomorrow, if you want to visit it on your show, you're free to say it.
No.
Proud C4C supporter, but you heard that on Rooster, because that's where I first said I was a C4C supporter.
Madam,
as far as the premier is concerned, I had my issues with the government regarding the former premier.
And you made that
2004.
clear. You made that clear.
And if you would remember, when you was running in politics in 2005, I met you at the LA department, and I discussed to you what McKeever and members of the government had did to me, Joey.
I don't recall that, ma'am. I actually had to find out.
That. You recall me saying it that day in the meeting, which I want to say to you, Joey.
No, I mean,
far from the truth.
No, it isn't.
What you need to remember, what you need to remember is what you told me, and what I will tell you, I will say it if I'm called for evidence.
That's fine.
Be careful.
I don't have to be careful. I won't.
Joey.
I actually look forward to that.
To bring me into it was not right. But I appreciate your advertisement, because I'm not biased towards no one. I serve my Kimanians. I serve the expats. Whoever they are, it's my living, and it's not a pleasure.
Okay.
I'm happy for the way of survival.
Okay.
So therefore, I could not tell you.
Okay.
And it's an honest living.
It is.
And it is an honest living.
And I said that on Saturday night.
While it is heartbreaking, under the banner of the last UDP government.
Okay, so
what has happened in this country?
Okay,
but
you've made your point now with the call, right?
I want you to know that I stand for what I said.
So do I.
And I stand by what I said.
So do I.
Me and you had no discussion at the Smith Cove parking lot regarding me being a C4C. But I stand here today and tell you, I am proud to support men and women of caliber. Men and women that is for the people of this country. Men and women that are not going to teach them how to depend on this country, but how they can help their country and how they can help themselves. Thank you, Mr. Joey.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Thank you for your call. Have a great evening yourself. Okay, so we're welcoming calls just like that one, and I treated that one. I have no intentions of cutting you off, folks. Look, you don't get into the seat, you don't put your name on the ballot, and you don't run away when someone challenges you. Okay, that is something you stand up, you listen, and you communicate with, because if you're elected, you have to represent the people, and I'm making that clear. And as the lady clearly pointed out, who her preference is in the political arena, which team she supports. And I can assure you that what I have said in the past is what occurred that day. And if we're in court and she's called to give evidence, I welcome it, and I welcome the opportunity for her to get on the stand. She did have 3 other people in the room. She has validated the time that I was served as being 5-something. So I did spend the day, as I said before, talking about this. I received the call between Havana, when I left Havana Cigar Shop to the Kentucky Fried Chicken is when I got the call. And it was a short period. So I was estimating it was about 30 minutes after saying no for the last time. And so she called me at after 4, served me at 5. So I'm off by about 15 minutes. And again, please understand, I didn't see this coming. I had no idea it was going to happen. Even with the call being and the threat the previous day, I'm still not expecting this to occur. In fact, there is a text on Saturday morning between myself and Emil where I sent to him. That is also on record and easy to be pulled up by Lime and validated. So I have, throughout this entire thing, I have not said to anyone, you need to believe me. I have presented evidence. I have presented evidence to the facts of what occurred, and I'll continue to do that. We have this evening as a topic, and it's open mic. The number is 946-9898. We're talking about the cost of living, so I have a list here made up from people on Facebook, and the list of issues that affect the cost of living in the country includes CUC costs, health insurance, property insurance, the mortgages, interest, food, transportation, phone, and water. So there's a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss, and a lot for us to chat about, and make sure that we can get some information going and some exchange occurring here. We have a call, so let's go straight to the phone lines.
Joey.
Hi, caller. You're on the air. Thank you for calling.
This is Mr. Goddard.
Mr. Who?
Goddard.
Hi, Mr. Goddard. How are you?
We spoke the other day down by flower shop.
Oh, yes.
I knew nothing about this show until this evening. You sound good, man.
Thank you.
You sound very, very well.
Thank you very much.
And I
Mr.
know
Goddard.
that you have a lot of facts, and you need to get the facts out.
I am, sir.
As I told you previously, you can have a lot of enemies. You understand?
I know.
But you have to be careful. But you sound good, and I really appreciate your show. It sounds good. You keep it up.
Okay. Thank you very much for your call, sir. Thank you for the support.
Okay, buddy.
Right. So I want to thank that caller for that call. It's I know the initial caller kind of set the pace and it got into more of a ugly kind of political discussion, but those are good sometimes too. You know, you have to light it up a little bit. Not all the time you can have a calm, smooth conversation, and certainly, as the caller said, you're not going to always have people agree with you. First of all, folks, if I had the answers to everything, I wouldn't be here, would I? So I don't, and I'm not going to give you the answers to everything, but I'm going to ask questions. I need you to ask questions of me, and we can have a discussion. We can talk about the issues that affect us in this country. So I got this call from a friend of mine on Facebook who he sent me a email, text, or a post to my Facebook page, and he said, asked me what my solution was to the cost of food. And I told him if he called this evening, if he tuned in this evening, I would have that for him. So we spend somewhere in the region of about $100 million a year in food, importing food into the country. Now, that's one thing with the massive $100 million worth of economic leakage, with cash leaving the country. What we have in our country is, in fact, we have poor terrain for mass farming, for large farms. But there is a solution now available, thanks to a friend of mine who forced me to research it. And it's in the form of the greenhouse farming. Why is this becoming so cheap and so affordable and accessible these days? It's because of global warming. So global warming is forcing farmers in countries around the world to have a more controlled environment and how they approach and deal with the produce of food. And now it's becoming very, very cheap to build greenhouse farming. So my recommendation for us would be to take the bypass road in Newlands and extend it all the way through to the fire station in Frankstown and open up that interior land. That interior land is also where we have the most wetlands. And one thing we need for fruits and crops is we need water. So the water there, we have the mangroves, and the mangroves actually help to create fresh water and protect fresh water. Now, I'm not talking about building a road that is going to be a 4-lane or 2-lane paved road. I don't believe we should put that in there because I believe that the tar in itself and the barber green itself will cause an environmental hazard and leakage into the system. So let's build a nice small dirt road inside there, open that land up for the locals who owns it, and let's have them, if they choose not to do the farming, be able to lease it to other people who will. Then we can start through the greenhouse effect to mass produce food. And I believe that we can do this in such a way that we can create sufficient and to feed local, at least to reduce the $100 million economic leakage. And we can have food being produced here. But more importantly, we can also have the medicinal food crops being grown in partnerships with the pharmaceutical companies that allows them to purchase from us, and we have an export going on. Get the farmers together, get the people together, conduct the training, roll it out, and ensure that their crops are being purchased. Now, how do we control the cost? We control the cost by, if it's mango season that they're producing, during that period, we increase the duties on all imported mangoes by 1,000%, whatever. And that allows the farmers' mangoes to be cheaper, but it also allows the farmers to be able to get a profit and better margins to support their system and their business. When that season is over, we bring it back down, and we're still able to provide through the supermarkets and others. They're still able to access mangoes overseas. So while the season for whatever crop we're producing locally is on, we need to protect it with the tariffs by raising them during the season and bringing them back down. Look, this is not impossible. There is no such thing as, it has to be fixed and set in stone forever and a day. That's rubbish. Nothing has to be. So we'll be able to control the cost and protect the farmers by ensuring their crops are sold, and they're sold at such that they get a margin and they're able to create a profit. And we still have access to imported goods from overseas. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're talking about the cost of living. Don't forget to give me a call. It's 946-9898. And we're talking about cost of living or anything else you want to talk about. Give me a call. It's the Joe Ebanks Show. We're right here on Vibe 98.9 FM.
I'm not afraid to take a stand.
Nothing is off the table. It's the Joey Ebanks Show on Vibe FM.
Welcome back, people. Welcome back to the Joe Ebanks Show on Vibe 98.9 FM. Remember, it's open mic. Let's chat. Let's chat about just about anything you want to talk about. The number is 946-9898. Going straight to the phone lines. Hi, caller, you on there?
Hi, Joey.
Hi, thank you for your call.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well.
Good to hear you over the area. Listen, this is a question that's something you threw out there in the public forum via your Facebook, which you've been utilizing that quite well, I must say.
Thank you.
The letter that you posted, I haven't actually looked at the images regarding the email to the Ritz-Carlton from Mr. Miller. Is that ringing a bell?
Yes, I'm familiar.
I know it's off the topic for the particular show.
No, nothing's off the table, buddy.
But, okay, exactly. What are the lengths or what are the ramifications of this politically and legally?
Okay.
What would you say the ramifications are of that?
Okay, so and let's chat. Okay, I prefer to have a conversation with people. So I have an email that I've posted up. I've also handed this over to the RCI police. Included in with that email is the Gazette that clearly identifies Mr. Miller was the chairman of the Work Permit Board. In the email, he is writing to Eddington Powell, Steve Scott, an Ocean email, and I'm assuming that's Jerris because he mentions Jerris further on in the email. And he's saying that he negotiated with the Ritz for 15% of the annual salary of the employees, plus expenses, and that he would be traveling to Cuba. He gives reference to Cubacan and the possibility of going to the Dominican Republic to bring in these employees for the Ritz. Eddington asks how many is likely to be, and he says it's in the hundreds. So politically, what he's clearly demonstrating here is that he chose to go external to fill jobs, and legally, he's doing so while sitting as the chairman of the Work Permit Board without a license to source human capital for any company. So that's illegal. So he's breaking the law. It's official corruption when any member of a board directly, it would be the same for someone sitting on the planning board who owns a construction company, to turn around and say to you, hey man, if you give me the contract, I'll make sure your plans get approved. The same thing. That's official corruption.
Or for example, owning a trust plant, but then now modifying the planning law to require 70% more trusses in any roof being built past that day.
That's right. And that's where the anti-corruption unit and the good governance needs to step in to prevent those individuals from using their positions to benefit themselves to the expense of the people, you know?
Is there any way that we can find out if any hires were made through this system and whether Mr. Miller has received any sort of recompense for his efforts in this regard?
That is why I gave it to Commissioner David Baines. I gave it to him. I sent a FOI request to the immigration FOI unit last night. Must have been about, 9 o'clock. By 9:22 this morning, they had responded. That's how quick they respond. I mean, I have to say this is the kind of government I like because it was a very quick response and they gave me the date of his resignation. That date proves that he was in fact sitting as chairman of the board when the email and the solicitation occurred. Now, the Commissioner of Police needs to say to the public, well, we don't know that he actually made any money, or we don't know that he, in fact, got anyone on island, so we're investigating, or whatever he has to say, right? But the point is, the Commissioner of Police also needs to say whether or not, even if he didn't get anyone, even if he did not receive funds, is it a violation? Is it a violation? That's right. Is it a violation? Is this official corruption? Because here's the other example I want to throw there. If I'm a traffic police officer and I pull you over for speeding, and I say to you, look, I'll tear up this ticket if you bring me $50 later on tomorrow. Now, is that an offense? Does that policeman get arrested and suspended and taken to court, or does it have to occur when I get the $50? Because as far as I'm concerned, the offense occurred when I approached you and asked for the $50.
It's regardless.
Regardless, the intent is there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, but Joey, thanks for clearing that up for me. And definitely, via whatever media you choose, keep us posted on that particular situation as far as how the investigation is going into that email from Mr. Miller. So,
okay,
good job.
Thank you very much for your call as well. Thank you so very much.
Bye.
Okay, all right, callers, we're back. Remember, we're talking about cost of living now. I know you ladies out there and you mothers out there have been making this an issue on my Facebook page for some time. So, and I know sometimes it's a bit intimidating, but don't worry about that. Just relax. Let's talk about the cost of living. Should children, students in, let's call it public school system, should the parents have to pay for health insurance for these kids? Or should we provide free health insurance for all children up to high school? That's the question. That's part of the cost of living and what's affecting the homeowners and the parents and the homes in Cayman. So should they be free or should they be forced to have insurance? Now, what's the difference between the two? The difference between the two is that if they're free, everybody pools in to cover the cost, including the very and extremely very wealthy. If it's insurance, mandatory insurance, the parents then have to cover 100% of that cost. And that can cause further poverty within each household. So let's talk about it. Should CUC prices be brought down? Should there be an introduction of more renewable energy? Should there be less fossil fuel? Should the current bid that is under investigation be put back out to the public globally? And should that mix change from 100% firm generation of fossil fuel diesel generation to renewable energy so that people get some relief from the fuel costs? We're going to slip into a break, and when we come back, we're willing to take your calls. The number is 946-9898, 946-9898, and you can also ping me on Facebook and ask the question. We're more than happy to take your questions right there. So tune in. We're at Vibe 98.9. You're listening to the Joey Ebanks Show. Looking forward to your calls.
I'm not afraid to take a stand, take a stand.
And we're back here. We're back here with the Joey Ebanks Radio Show. We're going straight to the phone lines. We have a call on the air. Yeah. Couldn't wait. Okay, just give us a call back. I'll go straight to your calls when you call back. So we're talking about the cost of living. We're talking about how we can affect and reduce the cost, our cost of living on the households in Cayman. This is an election season, so these issues need to be put on the table. And there's a lot more. As I said, I've been hit up on Facebook by so many requests from people on issues they want to have addressed, and I'm going to try and dedicate a show for each one that we can talk about. And it's great seeing the messages coming in from Facebook saying, "Hey man, we really appreciate that." Let me just read this one very quickly. This one is actually from Charles the Killer Whitaker. Joey, I'm listening to your show from Florida. What you said about the farmers, I totally agree with it. I have been saying the same thing quite some time now, and that's from Charles the Killer Whitaker out there in Florida. So keep up the good work is also what he's saying, and I'm saying the same thing to him. So great to hear from you. And you can send me a message on Facebook, and I'll just read it out. If you don't want your name mentioned, naturally we won't either. And we're getting more and more messages coming in from Facebook, actually, quite a few. But we have a call on the phone, so I'm going to go straight to the phone lines. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Mr. Ebanks.
Hi.
I'm just calling to say that I think this is a much-needed radio show. I wish you all the luck, and I hope you can straighten a few people out. Real good.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you for your call. Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for the support. And, we're going to straighten some people out because we're going to change the game of politics. Aren't you all tired of seeing politicians getting elected on coattails of other people and not being able to deal with the tough questions? Well, here's how you change that. You ask the tough questions. You want a nice, friendly person to do it with? Call now. Get some practice by calling me and asking me all the tough questions and seeing if I can respond. There's in life itself, you never get just one issue. You get a whole bunch of them thrown at you. In politics, you get 1,000-fold of that thrown at you. So you have to be able to cope and manage and think and act with a lot of things going on all at once. And that's also why you need really good people around you so they can share some of the burden. So give us a call, 946-9898, and let's chat. Let's chat about the cost of living. Here's another one from a Facebook friend. Hey, Joe, the following is duty-free. Why they cost so much? All milk products, including cheese, butter, except yogurt, sugar, cereal, cornmeal, flour, chicken, salt, fish, macaroni, pastas, and all baby products. If government is giving these duty-free, why isn't this being monitored so they pass it back on to us? And you know what? That is an excellent question. Because what may be happening is that the supermarkets are taking some of the duty-free concessions here, raising the price on them to cover losses from other perishables. So that denies the consumers the duty-free costs that the government policy was designed to do. So really and truly, we need to get the government agency responsible to step in and monitor this. And Customs is going to be watching it. They'll have the true costs on the invoices, and naturally can also check to see what the sales price is, because the customs officers are just like the rest of us. You know, they're people, Caymanian people. They're looking to live here and live well as well. So great question from that person on Facebook, and they're asking. And I love Facebook. You guys know I love Facebook. So great question. More questions coming in. Another one here from the gentleman overseas, and he's saying that his costs, the remainder of his costs, is some $27,000 US. This one really touches my heart and humbles me, because no Caymanian should be promised healthcare treatment and then cut off from even communication overseas. And obviously he's very ill. He makes mention of having to be in a wheelchair. Now he's living with someone who has put him up in their home in this foreign country until he can sort out the issues with the costs. And one thing he makes mention of here is that, and this is really serious, because he says the administrators and the management of the hospital is beginning to question whether or not they can trust the Cayman Islands government anymore, having clearly now reneged on covering his costs and still owing them funds. And I don't know if this is the only one or if this has occurred before, and this individual is just bringing it to light. But this is something very serious. It goes beyond that. So, you know, it's important we get behind these issues, we bring them to the forefront, and we resolve these. The Ministry of Health, the Minister of Scotland, certainly needs to deal with this gentleman. He needs to respond to him. I've seen several emails from him where he sent to the minister in Seneco. One of the people in Seneco that clearly worked very hard to help him out, I saw in the emails I saw, was Lonnie. Lonnie, there was several responses from him trying very hard to make sure that he got the assistance he needed. And there's more and more coming in. You know, the other thing, lots of information coming in from Facebook. I'm trying to read and tell you at the same time. So people are calling up. People are not calling, but they're responding through Facebook. So I guess all of my Facebook people out there are loving the show. And the Drive at 5 people are just trying to obey the law, not drive and talk on the phone. So we have another one. Here's another one from Facebook. And the question is, what is your opinion on Northside voters? People might want a change over there based on what I'm hearing. And, you know, it's the same thing I'm hearing when I'm canvassing. Knocking on doors. More and more of the Northside people are saying that they've had enough of Mr. Miller. In fact, I have to say that for someone who makes so much noise, he sure hasn't done a whole lot in 4 years. I mean, there's really nothing substantial that he can point to that he has done. And don't think for 1 second I'm excluding any of the national issues that he's been ranting about, because, you know, he hasn't succeeded in a whole lot of them either. He's made a lot of noise. He's rallied a lot of people. He's objected to every single proposal made. But at the end of the day, you know, many of those proposals were private sector money that would have put people to work. would have provided jobs, and we would not be in the situation we are today. So in North Side is where he needed to really work to get people jobs, make sure that the community was moving forward. We have another call on the line. Let me just go straight to the phone line. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Joey.
Good evening, buddy.
Yes, first, I congratulate you again for the show. It's a very unusual show because I think you expose the truth to people, and that's something we encourage. The other issue, I want to say something to my people. I consider them my people, the Caymanian people.
Yes.
And I want to tell them, talk, man. Use that tongue.
Yes.
Don't let that tongue stay in your mouth and don't use it, because God give you that tongue to speak and to say what you have to say. This is your country. Stand for your own country. Defend your own country. Stand for it.
Yes.
And that is what should people do.
Yes.
And the issue of agriculture, I think that is another disaster by itself, Mr. Joey. I am a small farmer.
Yes, that's right. And I actually think that my idea with the greenhouse farming would really work for you. Because if you got some land and you could lease some land, you could do so much more in a controlled environment.
I actually did that. I have a greenhouse in East End, and
Okay.
I do farming, modern farming with a greenhouse,
Oh, okay, excellent.
which I import from United States. And I'm planning to expand my farming business more. But
Okay,
what I
but
want
what you
to
need,
say,
sorry, if I could please, because you're a farmer, and I may not get another opportunity to talk a little bit of farming, because
Yes.
I'm not a farmer and I need to be educated too. So all you really need now is some tariff controls so that you can make some decent profits on what you produce by giving you some protection from them from the other businesses being able to import competitive plants and fruit, right?
right?
Okay.
I think we need to protect the farmers. As you said, I agree with you with the issue of mangoes. I mean, we produce mangoes more than what we need in Cayman. And the other issue, we have farmers who grow tomatoes and
Yes.
different other. We have tomatoes more than what we need, and
Yes.
we need to go in the greenhouses to produce tomato all year long.
Yeah.
The problem with the agriculture in Cayman, that the Department of Agriculture in Valley and the farmers in other valley, they can't hear each other. And there is
Okay.
no communication between the farmers and the department. And we need a change really in the head of Department of Agriculture is the worst one we ever have in decades.
Okay.
And he never attended the last agriculture show. Why? I don't know. But
Okay.
it's very sad.
Can I just ask a quick one? Like the hotels and restaurants, do they take a lot of product from you guys?
Yes,
Okay,
they do. Actually, the restaurants in Cayman, they support farmers more than the supermarkets, because the supermarkets, they import from other countries and
Yeah.
stuff. But mostly, the most supermarket support farmers is Foster. I will be stand as a respect for that family, Foster family. They support supermarkets.
Okay, excellent. That's really great to hear. And the Saturday morning at the farmers market is still working well?
I think there is some issue with that. I don't go to that market because I think the Saturday market, they charge farmers to pay money to go there. I mean, this is a sad, how a farmer will afford to pay all that money to go just for a couple of hours in the Saturday market.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, we go by dark.
Yeah.
They offer it for free. And other farmers, they try to sell their products by the road.
Yeah.
Because farmers can't afford even a license to get a license.
That's right.
Yeah, it's very sad. We don't have really plan for farming. It's a very sad story in Cayman for the farmers have to stand. I really always raise my hat for those farmers in East End and North Side and other places in Cayman, how they manage, to continue and keep in this situation. I really respect those people who farm and do their best to improve farming in Cayman.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we need to understand is how important they are, because with the more and more global warming becomes an issue, we're going to need you all more and more to ensure that we have some food to eat. So we have to get you guys positioned where we can become as sustainable as possible. And I mean the farmers' grounds has been there and paid for by the Caymanian people for decades now. Why bother to charge again for that when, in fact, the farmers will be using it? They can use it for free. They can bring their produce in, and they can make money and take the profits. And because your perishables and your losses is so high from the investment, and everything is seasonal, isn't it?
Yes, it's just Saturday for a couple of hours, and I don't know why they charge farmers money to go there, but there is other entities, they don't charge them money. Those Orchid Society and this society and that. Those people, it seems, it's like, unfortunately, we have a group of mafias. They run in this agriculture department. It seems what they feel like to do, they do. And they don't care if agriculture will improve or not. They don't give any attention to that.
Yeah, it's sad that that's also there. And caller, I don't mean to cut you short, but if you could wrap it up, because I've gone over by 5 minutes or 6 minutes with you. So the show is only for an hour today. I'm off at 6. So I just wonder if you could just wrap it up, because I have something else to say when you're done.
I just want to say one thing. I really no, this is not about Joey Ebanks. What I will say now, it is about, it is very sad when I look at North Side, how in the past 4 years, there is nothing ever been done to improve that part of the island. I don't see anything ever happen there past 4 years. There's 2 boards being put in that dock, and 1 camera, security camera, which when I asked the MLA how many people he did employ, he can't answer me. How much? Just count for me 5 things you ever done and achieved. How many Northsiders ever or Caymanians you ever employed? It is very sad. I really appeal to those people in Northside to do the change. It is not, if you hate this Jordanian, hate him as much you want. But trust me, I have a child live here. And I want a better future for my child and your child and everybody's child. We need a change in Northside and East End. Those the most undeveloped areas. And there is nothing done for the past 4 years. It is a very sad story. And the most high unemployment in those 2 districts is a very sad story. And I appeal to them to do the change. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your call as well. And folks, one of the things is that the caller mentions in respect to the Agriculture Society and so on is that the Orchid Society and those he's saying is exempted from costs, and maybe that's so. He works there, and I take him on his word on that. But this is also the sort of boutique kind of organization that gets a break when it's no different from that pyramid and that hierarchy of who's in charge and who deserves to get breaks and who deserves not to. And it seems the people at the bottom are always the ones who get less and less and less and less out of the government, out of the policies, and policies are more designed to help those at the top. I mean, last week I got a letter from Vibe notifying me that they had received this letter from Maples, Daniel Scott's attorneys, warning them that before I say anything, they should send it to their lawyer, Maple's lawyer, so they can review it and approve it to ensure that it's not libelous against Mr. Scott. And then today I was meeting with some other people, and I got to read one that was sent to another media house, and it said the same thing. Prior to Joseph Ebanks, anything that he says being printed, you should send it to our lawyers for approval to prevent being sued. And I understand now that every single media house in this country has received this letter from Maples on behalf of Daniel Scott. So here's what we're really talking about. The chairman of the Judiciary and Legal Commission, that group, Daniel Scott, who is also the Ernst & Young partner, along with his attorneys, Maples, are attempting to muzzle the media in this country during a campaign against a political candidate. Now, tell me how I am wrong about the totalitarianism thinking. I mean, why not just sue me? Just sue me. You guys got lots of money. I have very little. Sue me and take me to court. And let me stand up in there and you show a judge where I have been libelous. All I've said is this. One, Daniel Scott is, in fact, the chairman of this board, of this judiciary committee. So he has all of the judges, Anthony Smelly, Chief Justice Smelly, Sam Bulgen, the Attorney General, the young lady who is in charge of the prosecuting office. They all fall under him. The role comes with the committee being able to hire, fire, and discipline them and all judges in the courts. And he's connected to his brother Jude Scott for C4C and his other brother Emil Scott for C4C. And they have a political team running called the C4C. And I've said that in the Compass, there's a case where he settled out of court to the tune of several $1 million because the assets that were taken from one company and placed into his possession were liquidated, and he had to compensate the man through when the gentleman was acquitted of all charges, and he settled out of court. If that's liable, then please tell me that I'm lying, that he's not the brother of Emil and Jude Scott, that they're not part of the C4C, that he is not the chairman of that judicial committee, that that position does not give him that kind of control over advising the governor, and most importantly, that in fact he was not involved in a lawsuit and he did not settle out of court. Because that's all I'm saying, guys. So sue away, let's go to court. Let's see if in fact he can control a court and force a judge to see things his way when I tell the truth and produce the evidence. So that's all I'm saying. And no amount of calls from anyone supporting them will be cut off on the show. I'm not cutting them off. I'm going to let them rant. I'm going to let them say what they have to say so that the truth can get out there. And in closing, folks, I have a nice surprise for you, because this young kid from the Cayman Islands, this young musician, I don't even know if this kid can drive. I'm not quite sure how old he is. But he took my story, he took everything he saw on Facebook and in the press, and he summed it up in 3 minutes. So here he is. This is Lil Cinco. Where's the justice?
I'm not afraid to take a stand, take a stand.
Yeah, your boss Cinco. That right. I came into this world to speak the truth about God and all his power. It's like I seen the vision from the heavenly tower. But right now I won't speak about something. Come on. Let's speak about the parliament, the cabinet and government. Tell me who is loving it, don't wanna be a part of it. Wanna vote for their party so they can sip Bacardi. Talk about how it all started, but it seems like someone farted. Well, for that I ain't a believer. The poor is out here starving and they went remove my diva. Now a lady's the premier. I ain't dissing her, but to me that ain't fair. Cause it's a man's world out here, but it looks like no one cares. I know it's all about the cheddar, all about the money so they can live better. But what happened to me? Out here starving on the street, well I could be getting a Grammy. I found me a beat and give them heat like Miami. I ain't down with that C4C system. They lied on Joey Ebanks and turned him into a victim, destroying our society, and the governor is with them. But this is my island, I should be the one that picked them. No commitment. I heard of government tales, we got the governor sales. Try to throw us in jail and lock us up in a cell. They don't want to give us bail, we wondering if it's hell. Why they treat us so different if you a girl or a male? Put that there on the scale, I bet they want us to fail. I'm sick of talking on public, so now I'm sending you mail. I'ma go hard, this is music, only put God above this and keep burning the system until I see some dust. Taking teams to subliminal, treat us all like we criminals. People minds are sentimental, so my talking is minimal. Got to keep original, be the cure, yeah, the minerals. Investing money, stop crime while we increasing on funerals. Need an army for this war and let God be the general. Now tell me what it is, if it's all about the biz. So what happened to the kids who's trying to live and do it big? They wanna bury us all, we might as well start the day. I don't really mix with politics and all the haterism. They only focus on themselves and all the playerism and the fascism. Need some classism or some caterism, but corruption comes from its owner. Yes, it's Taylor. I heard of government tales, we got to govern ourselves. Try to throw us in jail and lock us up in a cell. They don't want give us bail, we wondering if it's hell. Why they treat us so different if you a girl or a male? Put that there on the scale, I bet they want us to fail. I'm sick of talking out public, so now I'm sending through mail. I'ma go hard with this music, only boys gotta pub this. Keep burning the system until I see some justice. So that's what I really wanted to elaborate on.
98.9.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.